Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie, and I'm back with this quick little, well, not so quick little Act 5 series. And the reason I'm doing this Act 5 series is for a couple of reasons. First is I have gotten a lot of questions regarding Act 5, and really I'm having a hard time trying to answer them because it was so long ago that I've actually gone through and done the fights in Act 5. And I also know there's a lot of new players who are looking for some Act 5 content. I know some of my friends have just started playing this game, so they want to see some Act 5 content to figure out who they can bring in this day and age. So I will try my best to not only explain but also walk through Act 5, with the paths, the boss, the nodes, and some champ information that is relevant to 2019. So for this video, we are looking at Act 5.1.4, Taunted. I'm not going to be going through each path in a video. I may do that in the later chapters, but in 2019, 5.1.4, it's pretty straightforward. The first thing I want to do is go over this spreadsheet here that I have, and I will be updating as I go. So if we look at it here, I have all the paths color coded. So there's 5 paths, and I have brief descriptions of all the nodes and of the champs that you'll have to face because in 5.1.4 there are hidden nodes. So this is the first time we run into hidden nodes. So now I color coded these nodes based on what I feel are the easiest, but and that's all really up to your own discretion. There will be a link to this spreadsheet and also to the map, which you can go ahead and download in the link, or excuse me, in the description of this video. Now, this spreadsheet is live, so I will be making updates to it as we go along. So if you have any comments, suggestions, whatever to this spreadsheet, please let me know in the comments and I can update them if it needs be. So most of the buffs in this chapter are pretty straightforward, and so are most of the fights, to be honest. But as we get into the later chapters of Act 5, it's gonna get to be a little more tricky. Now, I find really the hardest path in 5.1.4 to be path 2, which is this red section here, and that's got enhanced special 2, which really isn't that difficult, and strike back, which is what you're gonna need to be careful with. But we also have 2 global nodes here. So we've got life transfer, and that is the opponent suffers degen effect, losing 2% of max health per second, but life stealing 125% of damage of damage done per hit. So this is really beneficial, especially in this chapter, and I'll go into that in a little bit. And then we also have another global node, Mystic Ward, where the enemy nullify effects have a 65% chance to fail. Is it really 65%, or is it kabam 65%, making it more like 85%? So if you're heavily reliant on Mystic champs that nullify, this could be kind of problematic. So, but I want to talk about here is this life transfer node real quick, because this is really one of the easiest chapters to fight. The more damage you do, the more health you are going to get back. So you're going to want to bring in some heavy hitting champs. Star-Lord, he's good. Corvus, he crits. Any champ that does good crits is gonna deal you good here. Ghost, obviously, Blade special 2, and also champs that have a lot of hits off of their specials, like Blade special 2. So that's another good one. You always want to bring in champs with a class advantage so that you can do more damage, and that will help you heal more. So that will be beneficial, and you can also really, in all actuality, end each fight with 100% health. So that is super, super helpful. Okay, there is really only one linked node, and that is controlled by Falcon, and that link is Anamnesis. I always have problems pronouncing that. But that is, it breaks the normal limitations of genetic memory with a perfect recollection up to 20 effects. So basically, he gets more buffs. Nothing really too bad there. So you really don't have too much to worry about with that. But like I said before, this one is where you're going to have some hidden champs. And this is the first one where you're going to run into that. So with the exception of this middle part right here, all of your champs are hidden. So I've actually enlarged their icon so you can see it kind of enlarged here to show you which champs are hidden, and they are all along the outside path. Now, I find path 2, which I stated earlier, which is all in red here. So you start out here, you go here, and it comes over here to Scarlet Witch. That is going to be your hardest path. Path 1 isn't that great either, and that's outlined in green, but it's not nearly as bad, I think, as path 2. And the reason for that is most of these all have enhanced special 2 and strike back. So you're going to really need to pay attention to your specials. Now, I went through Rocket and Luke Cage, but from this middle section here for path 2, but you could really go kind of any way. All the fights here in the middle are pretty standard, nothing to worry about. But what I want to do here is let's go ahead and talk about, we'll just go in to talk about path 3 here real quick. Path 3 is nothing too bad. You've got enhanced fury, that's nothing. And you got these hidden champs here. You're going to want to bring in someone for that hype period because he's going to be problematic for you maybe. And also you're not going to want to push either Punisher or Winter Soldier to their special 2. And then path 4, you come over here. And path 4 is enhanced bleed and caltrops. Now Ultron, Deadpool, X-Force, and Cap World War II, they all have caltrops. So for this section, you're gonna want to bring in a bleed immune. You know, your Iceman, he's good. Anyone that's bleed immune will help you with that caltrops. And you don't want to get hit by one of their specials if you don't have, you know, because these are all enhanced bleeders, excuse me. But you're really going to come into problematics here with the caltrops node. Okay, so then we go ahead on to path 5, which is over here with, you know, your Black Panther, Unstoppable Colossus, Iron Man, those sort of things. And this one has enhanced fury and armor up. So you're definitely going to want to bring in Armor Break Champ. Any Armor Break Champ is going to really help you out. And I should note, too, that they are heavy-handed. So if we look down here at heavy-handed, the special damage is increased based on armor. So you're definitely going to want to bring someone that armor breaks. Because even if you block that special, however many, if they have a ton of armor ups, you're still going to take a lot of block damage. So you're definitely either want to be able to completely dodge their specials, which with, you know, most of them, it's not that bad. Definitely don't want to push Howard the Duck to his special 2, and he's going to be one that's going to start off with a ton of armor up. So an Armor Break Champ is great for that. Like I said, Corvus is good. Really anyone that armor breaks. Medusa would be good for that. And then Rhino's got aggressive, but that's pretty straightforward. Just be wary of his charge. Don't try to intercept him, and watch out when he becomes unblockable. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about path 2. So I just decided to kind of start things off with Scarlet Witch here. Nothing really to run through that middle section of the map because that's all pretty straightforward, right? So Scarlet Witch is where things start to get pretty interesting because now remember, Scarlet Witch, she has enhanced special 2 and strike back. So I decided to bring in Scarlet Witch, and in all actuality, most of the paths in here are pretty good for Scarlet Witch. So if you've got a Scarlet Witch, you'll be pretty safe with your. The thing you might want to realize too about Scarlet Witch is when you fight her, she will probably put a poison on you and she will put a heal block on you. So you definitely want to be careful about that. Definitely be able to dex her specials because that she can hit you hard. So, but I mean, we are degenning, but just look at the amount of health that we are regenning. So you're definitely, even though we will get a heal block on it won't really matter. You'll see we won't be stealing the life back when we hit them. See there, we got the heal block. So I'm not regenerating because I got the heal block, obviously. And the heal block is also preventing me from stealing that life with every hit. So now I'm degenning. Now I know this might seem a little bit hairy, right? Wrong. Because that heal block is over. And now look at all the health I'm stealing back. Look, I'm already up to 100% health and Scarlet Witch is down. So now we are on to Star-Lord. And Star-Lord also has enhanced special 2 and strike back. So you really want to watch Star-Lord's power here. And definitely just go ahead and, block out of that, or not block out, dex out of the first part. of his special 2. And if you're not good at, completely dodging the second part, just go ahead and block it. And I mean, we're still getting a ton of health back. You want to be careful with your opponent's power bar here when you launch a special, just like you did with Scarlet Witch, because this is strike back. So it's very easy to not pay attention and push them to a special 3. It does happen to me, not here, but in a later fight, because I was not paying attention. But I mean, we've all done that, right? Right. But the good thing about this lifesteal is it is very forgiving. So you can kind of make a couple mistakes and it won't kill you right away because you'll be able to get that health back, which is a huge bonus. This is one of the easier chapters in Act 5. So, and like I said, it's very forgiving as well. Now there is that weakness debuff, I don't know why I said weakness. But again, you're going to want to bring in some heavy hitters so you can get the most out of your regen that you get. So, Aegon might seem kind of iffy for the first fight, but once he gets ramped up, he's really going to do you good. Okay, now Rogue just has strike back, so she doesn't have an enhanced special 2, even though all of Rogue's specials are pretty easy to dodge. But the one thing you gotta worry about sometimes, or be mindful of rather, is Rogue's shortened stun. I know it has gotten me a couple times where you think it's safe to move in after a parry and all of a sudden she's not stunned anymore and she's smacking you in the face. Luckily, she doesn't hit very hard. But so that's one thing you definitely want to be careful for. So definitely with Rogue, you want to watch your opponent's power level before you throw a special and be wary of her shortened stun. Now, I just decided to go ahead and bring in Yondu here because he does have the class advantage, so that will be highly beneficial based on the damage, so we can get more points or more damage points and then also more health back. So you can see we're always pretty much ending the fight at 100%. So then we move on to Magic, and Magic is also strike back, and so Magic can be kind of iffy, right? You got a lot of things going on here. So you got the degen, and then she'll get her limbo. So an option here would be to bring in someone who can heal block. So brought in Scarlet Witch, she can do the heal block. That'll help stop her limbo. And you don't really want to punch into, I know you're like, why are you punching into her when she has her limbo up? Well, that's keeping my health up, right? So even though it's kind of making the fight longer because she's just going to regen that back up, it's okay because my health is still up. So that's at one point in time when it's okay to hit into Magic's limbo. Now, if you don't have like a heal blocker, like a Yondu would be great for that heal block, but you have a Blade, definitely bring in Blade. Blade is the magic killer. Plus, he will get a lot of points, or not a lot of points, but a lot of health back after that special too, because it does so much damage. So now we are moving on to OG Vision, and like I said, this node is pretty forgiving, but there are a couple things that you want to watch out for. As you can see, I'm already back up to 100% health, even though I took like a 5-hit combo to the face right there. But see, launched my special, and with the synthesis and everything else, that pushed him to a special 3. So now because it's OG Vision, he has a chance to heal block you after every special. So I'm heal blocked right now, so now I'm just degenning. And I am down to 15%, but the heal block is over, and we are regenning with every hit that Vision takes. So even with Vision being a 5-star and, my little 4-star Scarlet Witch coming here, eating that one special 3, it wasn't too bad because of this lifesteal. Now there with the synthesis and the strike back, we're going to eat another special 3 yet again, but it's okay. So now we're moving on to Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange, you got to be mindful of him. So he just has strike back here also. But Doctor Strange is really kind of always constantly gaining power. So, with a strike back, you're really going to want to pay attention to that. You're not going to want to fire off a special unless he has 1 bar of power or less, because that's going to push him, and you don't want to do that. Best bet here is to bait out his special 1s. Now, if you accidentally push him to a special 3, I'm not or excuse me, a special 2, not a special 3, but a special 2. I'm not all that great at fully evading, as you can see right here, his special 2. So sometimes what I like to do is just, you know, take the first couple hits, block those, and then dodge out of the last part. That's easiest for me. So, like, just like that. Then you can run in, get your health back, and everything will be easy peasy, right? Hopefully. But, you know, you just don't want to push him. So right now he's in his power gain mode, or even more power gain mode, I should say. So definitely want to bait out that special 1 before I can launch any other specials. Launch the special 2. And that's pretty much going to be the end of Doctor Strange here. But I did eat that special 1 right there because I got greedy and tried to go in for it. But no worries. We are back up to 100%. And he is down. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Venom boss. Now, Venom, the only thing you really got to worry about with Venom here is you're not going to be able to nullify him probably as much as what you're used to. So really, any champ though will work. He does get some physical resistance on him, so that can be kind of hard. But any champ will work great on Venom. Definitely want to try to bait out those special 1s over those special 2s, because for me it seems like sometimes his special 2 can come out of nowhere, and so I'm not always that great at fully evading it. So kind of similar to Doctor Strange, I'll just block the first couple hits and then dodge out of the tentacles, and that seems to work best for me, because the tentacles is where you're going to get a lot of damage from, even block damage. So if you can at least dex out of that, you'll be fine. But any champ that places a debuff on him is going to be great here. Wolverine would be good. Nick Fury, he would be good. Someone that's going to help kind of speed up the process for you a little bit. But so this node still obviously has life transfer on it, so not too bad. We're constantly healing, even though I did bring in Wolverine. So I've got the Wolvie regen going for me, and then also the lifesteal going for me. So, and he's just throwing those special 2s, and I mean that takes off a good chunk of your health, right? But I mean with Wolvie's regen and the lifesteal, it's all coming right back up, and it finally threw a special 1 there, which is super easy to dodge out of. So just kind of gonna wail away on him. And I know you're like, Katie, this is taking forever. Well, if you'll see, he's got 4 physical resistant charges, so it's really hard to kind of get through him, and I just ate a combo to the face there, so that was fun. But no worries, Venom goes down pretty simple. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at path 1. So path 1, you gotta go through OG Thor, and that's really kind of where it's not going to be too bad. But path 1 has Stupefy and Mesmerize on it. So Stupefy, obviously, it's going to increase the duration of your of the stun debuff that you get affected with. And so on the map, which I should have done this before I played the video, but all of the champs on this path all inflict some aspect of stun, whether it be off their specials or off their special 3, which is also off their special. So you really want to watch out for that. And then some of them also have Mesmerize. And so Mesmerize, that can be really problematic. And that is when when your opponent evades, they can stun you. And so if that happens, they're gonna come in swinging. And I'll get into that when we come across this guy. So with Storm here, I decided to bring in Nebula to get the class advantage, but really you could bring in any tech champ. I'm trying to be a little bit ballsy here and build up my charges, so I'm not playing quite as aggressive as I should be with Storm. But I'm just trying to go ahead, get my charges built up, and kind of keep her backed away from me, not pin me up against the wall. Now, I find her special 1 pretty easy to dodge. Her special 2 is fairly easy to dodge as well for me. If you have problems evading her special 2, definitely bait out that special 1. But a little, no, I just ate that heavy, but a little trick here is if you're going to dodge out of her special 2, whenever she rises up in the air, that's when you move back, and that's how you'll evade it. So if you saw what I did right there. Now Quake Quake can be problematic if you get those Quake charges on you, obviously. So you're not going to want to get those Quake charges on you. But there is a way around that. And the way around that is right before your Quake charge timer is about to expire. See, I've got 2 Quake charges on me. So it's about to expire. So I just went ahead and launched my special, even though she was blocking. Because I launched my special, the Quake charges didn't stun me. Okay, moving on to Black Widow. Black Widow's special 3, I believe, is the one that stuns you. So I decided to come in here with Omega Red and instantly take a heavy to the face. Black Widow, you're going to want to be careful for her evades. She can and will evade you. So, you know, if you're not feeling confident just going in afraid that she's going to evade you at some point in time, go ahead and bring in a champion with True Strike. Killmonger would be great for this. Omega Red, the thing I like about Omega Red is he does damage over time with his little death spores there. So I do have, I have 11, 12 going on him now since I dropped the special 2. So I'm just trying to bait out this special 3, kind of just stand there, let the spores do their thing, get this special 2 out of her, kind of do some damage without really doing any damage. But I'm also taking damage, so, and I don't want to push her to her special 3 because that will stun me and she will come in and wreck me. But I went ahead and launched my special 2 and down she went. So now we're moving on to Beast, and I'm pretty sure it's Beast's special 1 that stuns you. So definitely want to be careful for that when he does his little flippy in the air and he'll kind of like come and drop kick you almost. That's where he's going to stun you. So definitely be wary of that. Here he comes. Boom. So I went ahead and brought in Nebula, but you know, really any champ works well against Beast. It's not that hard, except I just ate that heavy right there. Blocked that. Now I'm trying to, I want to try to parry him to get my charges on him and then launch my special 2 to double those charges. There we go. So now we've got 22 charges. Damage just ticked away. All right. So now moving on to Moon Knight. And so Moon Knight also has Stupefy. So I think that is actually, he stuns you off of his special 3, I believe. I don't think it's any other special that he has. I could be wrong on that. If I am, please let me know in the comments below. But Moon Knight's not too hard unless he is in his evading phase. So you definitely want to be careful that he is not in his evading phase. Okay, so now we are on to Iron Patriot, who has Mesmerize. And as you saw right out the gate, he evaded, I got stunned, and he came in and just started to wreck me. So if you don't have an anti-evade champ, you know, someone with True Strike, your best bet is to do like 3-hit combos or heavies, and that'll help you out. Definitely don't, and you also want to watch out for his signature ability, the burnout, because he'll gain a ton of power and you could accidentally end up pushing him to a special 3, which is not something that you want to do. So you got to be really kind of careful with this fight. You can get your health back. That is the good part about lifesteal. But you can also kind of put yourself in a pickle if you're not careful. So I just decided to block all of that just to be safe in case I kind of messed up. And, you know, tried to dodge back and he kind of clipped me on the end of that. So did not want that to happen. So we just kind of ate all that block damage. But both of his specials are pretty easy to dodge too. So you don't really have to worry about that. I went ahead and launched my special 3 and it does a decent amount of damage. He's now down to 25% health. And so we're just kind of, again, just kind of doing the heavy method, which is also good with Nebula, right? Because it's keeping those charges on him. But didn't pay attention to his power bar right there. He went through his signature ability of the burnout and that pushed him to a special 3. And I was hoping I could get that heavy off before he could throw a special 3. Didn't happen, but we're still alive. We've got 16% health. We're regenning a little bit. He's down to 4. Probably one good hit and he'll go down. Okay, so back to Venom. I decided to come in here with like a half-dead Nebula just to see if I could heal her all the way up and take Venom down. Will it happen? Will it? Who knows? But we've already been through this Venom fight. Like I said, Venom's really not that hard. He can be kind of tricky, and he can also be kind of aggressive. So you definitely want to be wary of that. And like I said before, his special twos, they just come out of nowhere for me, sometimes. So definitely want to try to bait out those special ones. There he's being a good Venom and throwing it. So I'm trying to build up my shock charges here. And this is a long fight. He does have physical resistance up. So definitely want to be careful about that. I'm just trying to build up my shock charges and trying to do a little trick here. So there we got him up to 10 shock charges, do some damage over time. He's down to 20%, excuse me. I can't read. Maybe that does. No, that was 30%, excuse me. Reading's hard. So I'm trying to build up my shock charges again. I also want him to throw this special one, but he didn't want to do it. So I went ahead, launched my special, and that is it for Venom. So let me know, guys, in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think I should make any changes to 5.1.4? Do you enjoy using this spreadsheet? Who would you use in 2019 for this chapter? What do you think are the hardest paths? Will this guide be helpful to you? Is it helpful to you? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.